You know that specific kind of quiet? It's not the comfortable silence of two people reading together. It's the heavy, thick air that fills the room when you're sitting right next to them, but you feel like you're miles away. You watch them pull out their phone. Again. You watch them retreat into that little screen like it's a bunker. And suddenly, your chest tightens. Your brain starts racing, fast, fragmented, raw. Did I say something wrong? Why do I have to chase them for basic connection? Do they even want to be here? Or are they just waiting for an exit? Am I too much? Or are they just incapable? You feel crazy for wanting more. You feel ashamed for needing reassurance. You start to wonder if love is supposed to feel this lonely. But here is the truth that changes everything. The distance isn't because they don't love you. The distance is actually proof that they do. See, mainstream culture tells us that if someone pulls away, they're losing interest. But in attachment psychology, the opposite is often true. When an avoidant partner starts acting distant, cold, or hyper-independent, it's rarely a sign of departure. It's a sign of overwhelm. It's a nervous system response to intimacy that feels too big, too fast, or too dangerous. You are not failing at love. You are not too needy. And this is not a sign that you chose the wrong person. Every couple navigating the anxious avoidant trap has stood exactly where you are standing right now. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to read the hidden language of their withdrawal. You'll learn to spot the 5 subtle signs that their pulling away is actually a clumsy, terrified attempt to stay close. And you'll learn how to respond in a way that doesn't push them further away, but invites them back in. Let's get into it. Before we look at the specific signs, we need to fix the lens you're looking through. Because if you get this wrong, every action they take will feel like a rejection. Most couples believe that intimacy is a straight line up. They think love means constant closeness, constant sharing, and constant availability. So, when their partner needs space, they interpret it as a loss of love. They panic, they pursue, and that pursuit triggers the avoidant's deepest fear: engulfment. But the real truth is much deeper. For an avoidant attacher, intimacy isn't just about connection. It's about safety. And for many of them, safety doesn't look like closeness. Safety looks like autonomy. Safety looks like knowing they can breathe without being monitored. When an avoidant partner feels their independence slipping, their nervous system reads it as a threat. Not a threat to the relationship, but a threat to their self. Their brain screams, "If I give in to this closeness, I will disappear." So they pull back, not to hurt you, but to regulate themselves, to find their footing again. Here's the paradigm shift. Withdrawal is not the end of love. It is the regulation of love. When safety leaves the room, love doesn't vanish. It goes underground. It hides behind walls of logic, humor, or sudden busyness. What looks like stonewalling is usually someone who has been so emotionally overwhelmed that silence is the only protection they have left. Once you understand that their distance is a protective mechanism and not a rejection mechanism, everything changes. You stop taking it personally. You stop chasing. And you start seeing the love that's still there, hiding in plain sight. Let's look at the 5 specific ways an avoidant partner signals they are deeply in love, even when they seem miles away. Most couples miss this completely. Most people in relationships expect grand gestures or long, deep conversations as proof of love. So when their avoidant partner sends a random meme at 2 p.m. or texts, "saw this and thought of you," without following up, they dismiss it as lazy. They think, if they really loved me, they'd call. But here's the psychological truth. For an avoidant, reaching out is risky. It opens the door to expectation. If they call, you might ask, "How are we doing?" or "When will I see you next?" That feels like pressure. So they offer what I call a low-stakes ping. It's a way of saying, "I am thinking about you," without inviting the intensity of a full emotional exchange. It is their way of keeping the bridge open without walking across it. Let's look at the difference. The disconnecting view. You see a meme. You don't reply because you're hurt they didn't call. You think, "They're keeping me at arm's length." They feel your silence as rejection and retreat further. The connecting view. You see the meme. You smile. You send back a simple heart emoji or a funny reaction. No questions, no demands, just presence. In that moment, their brain quietly registers, "She received my bid for connection without trying to pull me in deeper. I'm safe. I can come closer next time." And when you accept these small bids without demanding more, the walls between you start to come down, without either of you having to say a word. Most couples believe that vulnerability always looks like tears, shaking voices, and raw emotion. So when their avoidant partner starts talking about their feelings, but does it in a detached, analytical, or logical way, they get frustrated. They think, "You're not really feeling it. You're just analyzing it." But here's the part no one talks about. For an avoidant, emotions are chaotic. They feel like drowning. Logic is their life raft. When they share a problem with you using facts, data, or rational analysis, they are actually handing you their vulnerability. They are trusting you with their inner world, but they are wrapping it in packaging that feels safe to them. They are saying, "This matters to me," in the only language their nervous system currently allows. Imagine this scenario. The disconnecting response. They talk about work stress logically. You interrupt with, "But how does that make you feel?" They shut down. They feel exposed and misunderstood. The connecting response. You listen to the logic. You validate the situation. You say, "That sounds incredibly draining. It makes sense why you'd approach it that way." Something in him is saying, "She respects my process. She's not trying to force me to be someone I'm not. I feel seen." That's the shift that turns a relationship that feels like a negotiation into one that feels like a refuge. Most people in relationships view withdrawal as a linear drift. They think, "He pulled away yesterday, so he's pulling away today, so he'll be gone tomorrow." They panic during the silence. They text multiple times. They demand answers. They try to force clarity in the fog. But avoidant attachment works like an elastic band. The further they stretch away to regain their sense of self, the stronger the pull back toward you becomes, if you let them stretch. The love doesn't fade during the silence. It accumulates. When they have regulated their nervous system and re-established their autonomy, they naturally snap back. The key indicator of love isn't that they never leave. It's that they always return. Here is the contrast. The panic cycle. They go quiet for 2 days. You send 3 texts asking if everything is okay. They feel suffocated. They take 3 more days to reply, and when they do, it's cold. The secure cycle. They go quiet for 2 days. You focus on your own life. You trust the bond. When they reach out on day 3, you greet them warmly, without punishment or guilt. Hey, good to hear from you. What's moving through her is relief. I didn't lose her. I can be myself and still be loved. And when you stop punishing the distance, the return becomes sweeter, faster, and more genuine every single time. Most couples prioritize verbal affirmation. We want to hear "I love you." We want to hear "I appreciate you." So when an avoidant partner rarely says these things, but instead fixes your car, fills your gas tank, or handles a stressful admin task for you, we overlook it. We think, they're just being practical. They're avoiding the emotional conversation. For many avoidants, words feel flimsy. Actions feel real. Doing something tangible for you is their highest form of intimacy. It is their way of saying, I see your burden, and I want to carry some of it. It is love translated into labor. It is protection expressed through provision. Look at the difference in perception. The missed signal. He fixes the leaky faucet. You say, thanks, but we really need to talk about our weekend plans. He feels his effort was ignored. He withdraws. The recognized signal. He fixes the faucet. You touch his arm and say, thank you for taking care of that. It makes my life so much easier. I feel supported by you. His brain registers, my love language landed. She sees me. I did good. That's when your partner stops feeling like a problem to manage and starts feeling like a person to come home to. Most couples think intimacy means knowing everything about each other's past, but avoidants are fiercely private. They keep huge parts of their history locked away. So when they share a small, seemingly insignificant detail, a childhood fear, a weird habit, a secret dream, we often dismiss it as small talk. We wait for the big reveal that never comes. But here's what nobody explains. For an avoidant, privacy is their armor. Every piece of information they share is a piece of armor removed. It is a massive risk. When they tell you about that embarrassing moment from 3rd grade, or that song they listen to when they're sad, they are letting you into the inner sanctum. It is not small. It is monumental. It is them saying, I trust you with the parts of me I usually hide from the world. Consider the reaction. The dismissive reaction, they share a small vulnerability. You pivot to your own bigger story. Oh, that's nothing. Listen to what happened to me. They feel overshadowed. They close up. The curious reaction, they share a small vulnerability. You lean in. You ask one gentle question. Wow, I never knew that about you. What was that like? Something in him is saying, she's curious, not critical. She wants to know me, not just the version of me that performs well. And that curiosity is the oxygen that keeps the flame of intimacy alive, even in the quietest moments. This isn't a checklist. It's an invitation to show up differently. When you stop viewing their avoidance as a rejection and start seeing it as a different dialect of love, you change the entire energy of the relationship. You stop reacting from your anxiety. You start responding from your security. And your partner will feel the difference before you've even said a word. These aren't tips for a better relationship. They're the beginning of becoming the kind of partner who creates safety. Not just for themselves, but for the person they love. Because real intimacy doesn't start when you find the right person. It starts when you decide to become the safe harbor they've been looking for. Love isn't what you fall into. It's what you build every single day on purpose. If this resonated with you, if you felt seen in any of these points, hit that like button. It helps this message reach other people who are silently struggling. And subscribe if you want to keep decoding the psychology of modern love with us. Tell me in the comments, which of these 5 signs have you noticed in your partner? Let's start a conversation about what safe love actually looks like. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Safety is the precursor to intimacy.